what's happening with our planet right now? There's a lot of, I mean, to answer that question, you have to kind of think about what's happening with our planet ever, and before humans, and now with humans, and with all the carbon we're putting into the atmosphere. And it's a question that's been pretty hotly debated, but I think in general, the solution that everyone is kind of claiming for is that we need to treat our Earth better.
Here is one of the first places that I've really tried to integrate with an environmental movement outside of the scope of just a school. You know, I've been involved in environmental groups before. However, this is the first time that I've been involved on more of a citywide, on more of a citywide level. So I think one aspect that makes cities perhaps like Rochester or Pittsburgh unique is their potentially scarred reputation by industry. In the context of Pittsburgh, that would be the steel industry and the whole not being able to see the sun thing, or in here in Rochester, that would be Kodak. And before we developed good protocol for disposing of solid and hazardous waste, the concrete pools of photochemicals that we were left to deal with in the associated brownfields. It's these places that have problems like this that, to my understanding or to my knowledge, have had some of the most successful environmental groups and cultures get started because of that past history of problems.
I got involved with Recover Rochester at the first club fair that you go to as a freshman. And I went up to the booth and I talked to who I later found out to be was one of the co-founders, Nick Newman, and they were just telling me about this organization that was trying to help the community and a problem that I didn't even realize was a problem at the time, and that was food waste. And after they started talking to me about it, I just kind of realized that they needed more help and I wanted to get involved in any way possible.
SEAL was founded in 1993 by Jen Turek, who was a student at RAT in one of the environmental programs at the time. And she founded the club, but actually died before she was able to graduate of a brain tumor. So the club is now going on 21 years of age, and a few years ago, prior to me at least coming to RIT, SEAL was on a semester-long hiatus after a transition of leadership that left the club without a treasurer. And because we didn't have a treasurer, we couldn't officially exist. And so the club went into a semester-long freeze, I suppose, would be a good word for what happened. And Cassidy Putney and Nimran Dillon, two students now I think in their 4th or 5th year, came along and brought what I'll call jumper paddles to the club and really got it energized and revitalized. And that's sort of where I came into the picture. Was a couple weeks after they had done that, I started to get involved with the club and try and bring my friends who were freshmen at the time into the group. SEAL has sort of a two-pronged approach to environmental action. On one hand, we try to directly get involved. We try to be the hand in the way of the waste stream to help divert things like food waste, or to help ensure that electronics are properly recycled. We handle food waste at the Rochester Public Market, averaging about 2,600 pounds diverted each week, and that's diverted into either Hungry Bellies, compost, or livestock feed. Last year at our electronics recycling collection, we were able to bring in about 14 tons in 8 hours, and we're able to generate also some funds off of that event to sort of help sustain our organization. But the other big aspect of what SEAL does, and the more abstract aspect of what SEAL does, is environmental education. Larry Schweiger, who's the former president of the National Wildlife Federation, author of the book Last Chance, and I think another book or two, also coincidentally my neighbor, told me and expressed in his book Last Chance that you only say what you love and you only love what you know. And it's this parallel that makes it sort of imperative to SEAL that people have to know about what's going on or they won't engage. You have to be able to provide environmental education in a way that is honest, is credible about the facts that are involved, but that doesn't just scare people away from being involved. You have to frame the problem in such a way that shows how they can be involved and be, active, and how it can actually be really fun, but that still acknowledges the weight and the seriousness of the problem that's being faced. So that's a huge task, but the way that we've chosen to approach it through SEAL is just through education.